In this short video, I would like to give you a tour of the classes which have been developed so far for iChessKids. First is the utils class. This contains, right now, mostly code that calculates the polygon vertices for a square and so forth. It's just a way to kind of shuffle this off into a class so it doesn't obscure the user interface classes. The sound class manages the sound effects, and it has all sorts of things that you would expect, such as play, play cancel, play OK, and so forth. It's a real simple class that gets placed into the main page.xaml. Let me go ahead and hit music real quick here. Music is the same thing. This class manages the background music, play, stop, all the methods that you would expect. And here's an array of the 4 boards, which correspond to the 4 background music tracks. Okay, music and sound dialog. I use the same dialog for both music and sound, although there's a property that sets the type. Either it's a sound type or a music type, so you can use the same dialog for both by setting that property. And it just does user interaction. The user clicks on which one they want, and then finally clicks on one of the OK or cancel buttons. And for the OK or cancel buttons, I have a special class I use called crayon button. And the crayon button basically manages the buttons I'm using throughout this app. It's just a really cute way of having a button that kids are going to enjoy. Okay, I have another dialog here called board selector dialog, and this just lets them select the board. It does all the stuff you would expect, draws the selection as they click which one they want. It also says it speaks the board, whichever one they click on, it speaks it, like when they click on the candy board, it says candy and so forth. Pretty simple, straightforward class. But the class that kind of ties it all together is the board class. The board class, first and foremost, manages the background image, which is the board, and we have 4 of those, depending on the user selection. But it also manages the instantiation of all the dialogues that we're using. And right now we're only using 2 dialogues, the board selection dialog and the music and sound dialog. But eventually we're going to have many more of these. This is the method which gets fired when they make a choice for music and sound. This is the method that kicks off the music and sound dialog. So as you can see here, for each of these dialogues we add a mask, and we create the dialog object and add it to the canvas. There's one more thing I'd like to show you, and that's on mouse move. I have just a temporary method I'm calling highlight all board squares, and the only reason I'm doing that is so I can test the board square detection and highlighting methods. I'm eventually going to take this out because it's inappropriate to have it here, but you'll notice if you actually compile and run this app right now, that as you mouse over any of the squares, it will highlight. But that's not the way the program will eventually work. Sometimes you have to have methods for testing and so forth that eventually get taken out. And that's the way it is here.